William France Elementary School.
I remember the federal marshals knocking at the door and me standing there and wondering who they were. My parents never explained anything to me. I was only told that I was going to go to a new school and that I needed to behave.
William France Elementary School is receiving the 8th interpretive marker on the Louisiana Civil Rights Trail for its role as the stage for school integration across the country.
I had a bigger calling on my life.
We're here to unveil yet another marker on the Civil Rights Trail through Louisiana. 1960 doesn't seem that long ago, but it's a lifetime in the civil rights movement. So to be here to honor Ruby Bridges and an incredible act of bravery during those times, stories that hadn't been told. So this is just another tool in our toolbox to not only for tourism, but to educate all those heroes in Louisiana that were involved in the civil rights movement. When I got elected, we went to Arizona for a tourism conference, and Alabama got up and talked about this incredible civil rights trail, and then Mississippi got up and talked about the thousands of visitors that visit the trail. And I leaned over to Doug and said, "Doug, do we have a civil rights trail?" He said, "I don't think so." I said, "Well, why not?" He says, "I don't know." So I got up and apologized to the crowd and said, "I don't have a civil rights trail to talk about, but when I get back home, I'm going to find out why." And I'll tell you, wow, what incredible heroes, occurrences, champions, bravery that we uncovered. When we started this journey, there was only one site in Louisiana on the National Trail. Last year, they added 9 more right here in Louisiana. And we're quickly dominating that National Trail because of the heroes, the champions, the brave families of that era. I want to tell you, it wasn't me. Glenda McKinley and her son Ernest, who designed these incredible markers. Let's give them a round. Sharon Calcutt of my office and her team have such love and passion for their job and what they've done here. Did incredible work. And Norman, you top it off. At every one of the meetings, as you traveled to thousands of miles around Louisiana, hosted meetings to learn from those people that lived it, your passion and enthusiasm really made this team, pulled them together, and really worked. And I'll tell you, as I walked in the door today, I got goosebumps. And I thought about what bravery Ruby Bridges' family must have had. And to be able to honor her and her family while they're still with us. You know, we lost Dr. Jones here a while back, and I can remember when we unveiled that marker, Dr. Jones, 17 days out of law school, filed that lawsuit that blacks didn't have to ride in the back of the bus. But to see him put his name on that marker and start to cry, and he's not with us anymore, but to be able to do that while he was still alive, I will never forget that moment. So as we travel the state and continue this trail, we've got many more stories, heroes to uncover. I want to thank the students at Southern and Grambling who have done the research to make sure we're doing this in the right way. But I think Glenda said it best on the travels around the state when she said we didn't want to put a trail together just for tourists. We wanted to get those stories from the public, from the individuals that lived it, and they have done an incredible job and made me incredibly proud. I also want to thank Don Hubbard, who is on the convention board, who stood up. Let's give Don, who really championed the Civil Rights Museum, which finally will have a home in the convention center, which will be a kickoff point where people at conventions will be able to see all the things we've uncovered around the state, but hopefully will lead to people getting on a bus there and take the tours around Louisiana to visit those sites. Some incredible sites and occurrences across Louisiana. So I'm honored to recognize this family of individuals that have that love and passion for Louisiana, and thank you all for being here today.
Well, if you observe what's going on and try to figure out how people are thinking and determine the times of your day, I think you can always write something that the people will understand.
I was born by the river in a little tent. Oh, and just like that river I've been running.
I can remember before we walked out the door, my mother said, when you get in the car, you sit to the back of the seat and do not put your face out the window. I can always remember that. We came in from the rear of the building. I could hear the noise. I couldn't understand what they were saying. I saw police on horseback, holding the crowd back. And the only thing I could think of was a parade was coming. I wanted to know why I had to go to school on Mardi Gras and everybody else got to watch the parade. My mama said no, that wasn't the case.
Yeah. 'Cause I don't know what's up there.
A white person got on a bus, get on that bus at the front of the bus by the driver, and sat on up on the front seat. You had to go to the back of the bus. You couldn't sit in the front seat of the bus. The black people changed our way of doing things. And that's how you bring about a change. Do you understand?
But I'm afraid to die. Yeah.
The law prohibited integrated groups from meeting together and eating together. So they went down to Dookie Chase, and Leah welcomed them, said, come on in. Let's go up to this private room where you can continue your meeting, and I will bring you some good Creole food. It was historic. History was made in that room.
I go to my...
The Liberation March is now on its third day. 30 miles covered, 75 miles to go.
It was 105 miles for 10 days. And it wasn't easy. But it also was a march to let the nation know that we were not afraid, that this was not going to stop, that we were going to march until we got equality.
C.C. McLean, Claude Clifford McLean, was a leader, probably the most determined man I've ever known. If they were planning some boycott or demonstration, this is the place.
It belittles my character. The fact that I can't walk the streets like any other man, gracefully, upright. This is absolutely a disgrace to humanity.
I know, change gon' come. Oh, yes it will.
My name is Jasmine Grace Black Clemens, and I'm the principal here at Achille Academy of New Orleans. We are delighted to have you here to commemorate this important occasion. The significance of the events that happened here not so long ago is important not only to our city, but important to everyone here at Achille. Just 62 years ago, when Ruby Bridges was only 6, she walked these stairs and not only changed the course of integration in this city, but also the course of history. This is never lost on us as a staff and a student body. We are grateful for her sacrifice, and will live on in her legacy, educating all students, no matter their background, ethnicity, or intellect. The courage that Ruby Bridges showed on November 14th lives in the spirit of our value of grit. Today is a momentous occasion. Let us take pride in this day as we celebrate and give honor to her legacy with this symbol as the William Frantz Building becomes a permanent fixture along the Civil Rights Trail. Again, I thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Principal Jasmine Graves Black Clemens. 62 years ago, I was 9. Hard to believe that we lived through such a tumultuous and life-changing time. And yet, here we are, moving forward.
I welcome all of you to Achille Academy and the William Frantz Building. I'm especially honored to be here today because this building means so much to me. My family moved into this neighborhood 2 blocks away when I was 5 years old, where we remained until I finished college. I was a student here from 1974 to 1978, and after graduating from Xavier, I returned here to teach from 1987 to 2001. This was my community, and Frantz was and still is my school. As a child, as an educator, and now as a board member. So much of my life was shaped by the people in this building and the legacy of Ruby Bridges, who made it possible for little girls like me to attend William Frantz School. I am so excited that the current Achille students and the community will have the visible reminder of the legacy that has come before them and the promise of what lies ahead. Congratulations to everyone who worked on this project, and I can't wait to see the marker unveiled. Thank you so much.
I have a 6-year-old granddaughter in Texas. And one evening after a routine bath, she got out of the bathtub, and while my daughter was helping her dry off, she just came out of the blue and said that, "I am so glad that Ruby Bridges, Rosa Parks, and Martin Luther King lived, because if I was not able to go to school with my good friend named Liberty, a person who was a good friend, a good student, and a good person, she would be missing out on a lot." And I think that's really the bottom line in terms of the things that we're commemorating with the Civil Rights Trail and with the specific events that occurred at this campus. That the separation of different people for reasons, as Judge J. Skelly Wright, who ordered the desegregation of the New Orleans public school, said, when we put sanctions on people because of the works of man rather than by and ignore the works of God and choosing people with different characteristics, that we're doing something morally wrong in addition to legally wrong. The events that are here occurred at the time that the general belief and statement in public was that diversity was a problem that we had to find a solution to. And diversity was a challenge that we had to somehow overcome. In reality, events like the events that occurred here and the events that hopefully we will carry forward and our children and our grandchildren will carry forward will continue to send out the message that diversity is a blessing from God. It is not a problem, it is not a challenge, but it is something to be appreciated, to be cherished, and to be accommodated. Thank you.
On behalf of the Board of Directors of the Ruby Bridges Foundation, and on behalf of Ruby, I sincerely appreciate your presence today as we celebrate the good things that have come out of Ruby's life. 62 years ago, as we well know, Ruby claimed a right that was absolutely hers as an American citizen. 6 years old. She didn't really know why she was doing it, but she courageously walked through the crowd and entered this building. And 62 years later, we're celebrating that very brave act. We're still celebrating it to this day. And in fact, because of that brave act, Ruby can't be with us this afternoon. She is a much sought after public speaker, and her prior engagements out of state prevent her from being with us this evening. So she sends her regards and her well wishes and her thanks to all of you. In 2019, a fifth grade teacher in the city of South City, California, was teaching her fifth grade students about the civil rights movement. And in teaching them, she told the Ruby Bridges story. And as she told that story, one of the children, recognizing that Ruby was truly a courageous hero, asked, "Why isn't there a Ruby Bridges Day to celebrate this marvelous personality?" And the teacher told her class that indeed would be possible if they went through the normal steps of making that happen. And so she taught her children, if you want to create a special day or special occasion for someone, there are ways to do that. She told them that you find people who are influential and can help you. She told them that let's start right here in this school and talk to the principal and the other administrators to get them on board. From there, they went to the school board, the district school board, and on through the process all the way up to the state legislature, where these fifth grade students, I'm emotional thinking about it, these fifth grade students convinced these adults in the state of California to pass a resolution naming or claiming that November 4th of every year in that state would be Ruby Bridges Day. Fifth graders did it. They, in turn, were following the leadership role of Ruby as they honored her. And so every year on November 14th in the state of California and other places, it's Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day. And in 2021, I thought you might like this statistic, 90,000 students representing 337 schools in 16 states celebrated Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day. That's 2021. Last year, 347,500 participants from 48 states in 1,434 schools celebrated Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day. It's just amazing that this started from a 6-year-old walking into this building. It's incredible. Now, Walk to School Day implies that you walk from home to school. The foundation, the Ruby Bridges Foundation, which has embraced this activity, has now said it's entirely too risky, sadly, for children to walk from their homes to school. So the program has shifted a little bit from you come to school in your normal mode of transportation and you walk into your school. You walk into your school for a day of dialogue. And in that day of dialogue, you spend time with your peers discussing the world as you want it to be, not as it is, but how you would like the world you want to live in. And over the course of a year, you refine your ideas, you talk about goals, you set some action plans as young people, just assisted by adults, not driven by adults. And like the children in the 5th grade class in South Central California, if we have children in schools all across this country talking about a better world and working to make our world better, us old folks are in such great hands. We just need to allow the children to express themselves and take the courageous actions that not only Ruby took, but the 5th graders in California took to change our world for the better. So more than 60 years ago, at age 6, Ruby took the steps toward change, and they're still happening today in young people who follow her lead. Thank you very, very much for celebrating Ruby.
Here we go. Wow.
I'm glad as we get around the state and unveil these markers and tell the story why so many of these heroes are still with us, that they finally get recognized for their bravery and their heroics that they did during the Civil Rights Movement.
What she was kind of afraid of, but if it wasn't for my mom there by her side, going through the struggle, you know, to help her out, I don't think she would have made it without her. You know, yeah.
What do you think of all the attention that has come around?
Well, it's kind of a pleasure for me to know that they are here to honor her in the struggle that we all went through at that time. But I think it's a beautiful thing.
In later years, what has she said about this experience?
Other than her going to different places, speaking, she's kind of been on the go for quite a while. I haven't been seeing her, you know.
How did all this affect your family back then?
It was a real struggle. They fired my dad from work. The grocery stores stopped selling us food from the corner stores. We had to, for us to survive and eat, we had to, some of the neighbors cooked extra food and brought it to our house.
How long did that last?
I can't really tell you how long it lasts, but it lasts quite a while.
Well, years ago when we were children, I grew up on Prairie Street, but Ruby grew up on French Street. It was common knowledge that both our fathers were born and were from Towertown, Mississippi. Due to the fact that our grandparents were deceased at the time, we were not able to really make the connection how we were cousins, but we knew we were related.
Tell us about that time.
Well, when she was 6, I was 10. So I knew that she was going to integrate William Friends School at that time when we were growing up.
What was it like, the atmosphere at the school?
Oh my God, it was a very hostile environment for Ruby. It was outstanding that she was able to go to school and maintain herself, being so young, not really understanding what was really going on at the time.
How did it affect Ruby and yourself and other children?
We were afraid for Ruby. We were afraid for her safety, you know, and her well-being, that she was going to grow up and be okay with all she had experienced.
What went through your mind when they unveiled the marker today?
Oh, I said, you know what, sometimes justice takes time. But you know what, if you just continue to press, you know, it happens.
Tell us, what went through your mind when they unveiled the marker?
Oh, it's a beautiful thing to see, to be here and be alive to see it. That's about it.
Did you attend the school yourself?
Yes, I did.
What was your experience like?
Well, after Ruby, it was okay, just like normal for me.
What would you like people to keep in mind about what's happened here?
That it was a struggle back then to come here at this school.
I think a lot of people need to realize it's not just about the tourism aspect of it, but it's about the educational part to finally bring that to light in Louisiana and tell those stories. So that makes it a little even more special.